episode. Oh. Go.
Oh, what's up? I'm Fupa.
I'm Poop. Idiot.
I'm Peas.
I'm Metalingus, and I'm going to bed.
Alright,
night.
good night.
Buddy disconnected from your channel.
So, worst intro
Alright, let's
ever.
get this thing started. Sports?
All right,
Esports.
Esports.
What do you
The
think
International
about
Six.
esports? Like, do you recognize esports as a sport?
No.
I mean, if I were to have an opinion on it, I really don't care either way. But I would say that the feeling I get from watching esports and watching esports with other people is exactly like what normal people feel like watching football with each other, or basketball, or baseball. You know, you sit in a room, you drink a beer, and you root for games. You know, it's kind of fun. Like you feel like you're part of something. It's
is
exciting.
poker a sport? Is pool a sport? Is golf a sport? Are these things really sports?
Golf is a sport. I don't care what you
Okay,
say.
maybe golf is like a little bit borderline, but like, what about poker? Is poker actually a sport? Can you really call poker a sport?
If you can call
Um,
esports a sport, then you have to call poker a sport.
I think it's the other way. If you can call poker a sport, then you have to call esports a sport. I don't think either of them
whatever.
are sports. I don't. Do sports have to be physically demanding?
But it is.
Let's see what the internet says about the
Yeah,
definition of word
just Google
sport.
the definition.
Phase of exertion. All right.
Bam, GG.
Well, easy game. All right.
That's not a
Topic
sport.
closed.
What
Move
is
on.
it?
Next topic.
What is it then?
It's an activity.
A
It's
what?
a competitive activity.
Alright,
Oh.
user has been kicked from the channel.
User has been shut down, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't Aussie. That was just another guy we know. Yeah.
Unfortunately. Anyways.
Alright. Sports.
Competitive activity? That just sounds really long and like not appealing.
Exactly like esports then, huh?
A
No,
little
esports has like, it's like kind of catchy. See, with the
Esports sounds
definition,
cringy as fuck.
the definition,
I mean,
it does.
Cringy.
It sounds like cyber, you know, like cybersecurity, cyber.
The definition of
information,
esports,
cyber-
according to Wikipedia, is a form of competition that is
Cybersex.
facilitated by electronic systems.
Can you water
So-
that down for a 5th grade education level?
Is a form of competition that is facilitated by computer.
All right, let's go down to 3rd grade.
Thanks,
Is a
computer.
form of you win, I lose with computer.
Nice.
I like how the
But yeah.
international is mentioned first on the list. I feel like some fucking dotard was like, alright, we're gonna switch this list of tournaments as make the international number one.
I mean, I'm kind of biased because I play Dota 2 a lot, but I gotta say that Dota 2 is one of the easiest esports games to watch. I mean,
Easiest to watch?
It's pretty exciting.
Pretty
Yeah,
complicated
I mean,
too.
Like, for instance, if you watch
Alright,
competitive for
Let me just tell you
FPS,
this.
it's kind of
I'm
hard to
just
get
gonna say
into.
this. I'm just gonna say this, and then I won't talk about how shit of a like esports scene League of Legends is. In this international, there's about 110 heroes in Dota 2 in Captain's mode, which is the mode that they play where you pick in different drafting stages for those that don't know. Out of those 110-ish heroes, about 106 of them were picked. In League of Legends, out of whatever many heroes they have, I'm assuming it's somewhere around 100-ish, right?
Most 6 million.
Yeah, so they picked a whopping 36. So that should give you an idea of how much more exciting the international is compared to League of Legends. Apparently, also, a lot of people at League stream, like, right before their games. Like, they'll be streaming, like, a week before their international equivalent or big tournament. And, like, in Dota, you won't catch, like, a single good, like, player streaming. They'll all be, like, boot camping all day. Or if
Yeah,
they're streaming,
scrims.
it'll be like one game, and it'll be, like, after they're scrimming. So that should give you an idea of, like, how, I guess, strategic Dota is, whereas it seems like League of Legends at the upper level is more of a mechanical game where it's not really about playing with your team, but more of just like refining your mechanical skills. Which
What
Dota
about from a-
is, I think, even more
Isn't there,
mechanically
like-
demanding, but there's also
Isn't
like
there
a
like
level of strategy that you need to practice a lot.
What about the economic standpoint? Like, what's the salary breakdown here? are League of Legends streamers streaming because they make most of their money from that, and Dota 2 streamers make most of their money from, say, winning prizes.
So
I mean, if your income depends on you streaming, then you're probably more motivated to stream before a tournament, I think.
on the internet, the way it works is teams, let's say you're Elite Peas and I am Team Sandbox and I pick you up on my team. Most teams will have a contract that says you have to stream, so-and-so often, right? And because that will generate revenue for the team and for you, obviously, as well. But we'll take a very small cut of that. But since you're streaming with our team name on you and all of, our team name comes with our sponsors from Sony and Nintendo and, fucking
Monster.
Alex's mom and pop shop. So, obviously that helps our sponsors out and we get more money and you get more money yourself as well. In League of Legends, they will pressure you more to stream. Like, the contracts in League of Legends are more strict. However, in Dota, they're not as strict. They won't pressure you because they know very well that if you stream more, you won't play as good at, TI or the other tournaments. Specifically, TI is the one where you see people, like, literally disappearing for a month to practice for. Because what the teams realize is if you don't practice for TI, you won't win. And for them, obviously, winning is more important than streaming. I'm sure it's the exact same for the League of Legends teams, where winning is, obviously the more important than streaming. However, it seems like you're able to stream more if you're a League pro than a Dota pro, because of the fact that the game is less strategic. I don't know, on the competitive level, because it seems like the game is more. Not trying to say the game is dumb, but it seems like it's a lot more linear. The fact that such a small hero pool was picked just tells me that there's really only a very few amount of ways you can play the game, and the drafting
Pretty
seems to be
watered
kind of
down.
the same. But I don't play League, so
I've watched a little bit of competitive League and the bigger tournaments and stuff like that. And I mean, once again, maybe I'm biased because I played League for maybe 20 hours, played Dota for like maybe 1,000 hours. I would rather watch Dota 2 because the teams play their hearts out in the international. Like, those people are fucking trying to win, like, with every ounce of their being. It's more of an effort to win, and it comes out in the way they play and the way they act, and just the quality of gameplay and what's going on is more intense and more got more weight to it.
Storylines are a lot more rich.
But from my understanding, with a whole hero pool or champion pool, aren't they like niche picks? Like
In League?
Or
in
Dota.
League?
I don't know if any
think
of us are
there's really
qualified.
only like one straightforward way to play the game, 2 or 3. Whereas in Dota, it's like a team
There is.
thing. Like, different teams will play the game differently.
Yeah.
There'll be like the meta for a Dota tournament will be different based on the tournament. Metas form inside tournaments. So
I mean, I've tried watching League and it wasn't that too appealing for me.
told you.
So,
Oh, it's
do you guys think that, say, 10, 20, 30 years, esports will be on TV? Do you think it'll have, like,
It already
multi-million people following?
I mean,
Do you think it'll
It
be
was
like...
on ESPN. Like,
It was on ESPN.
Do you think-
ESPN
think-
picked up Dota as a sport, by the way. I don't
Do you
know
think
if you know that.
dude bros are going to hang out and drink a beer together and talk about what happened last night in the League of Legends game?
So, the big
probably
dunk?
not.
The
I
big
don't
Echo
know.
Slam at TI5 with EG when they won? That was on the
Yeah, that
top
was-
10 plays on ESPN.
Yeah.
That's
last year.
insane. But, I mean, at the same time, I'm going to look back on this in 10 years and cringe, but I think that's absolutely retarded.
I mean, I don't know. It's
But
probably it's a business decision on ESPN's end. They don't care about how crazy or whatever. They're literally looking for
Yeah.
money, which is good because that
I
means
just-
that, hey, we made this good game that's not only a good game, but you can also actually watch the game and be entertained, which is pretty much the most important part of esports or any sport, really. Like, I can make the most complicated, physically demanding sport in the world, but if it's not exciting to watch, there's really no point because you can just go play it alone or not in front of an audience of millions of people. Capitalism drives us.
User in your channel timed out.
That's also probably why Dota is so versatile. I'm sure up there, Gabe Newell and IceFrog and them are probably like, hey, like, not only are we trying to, make the game fresh and new and cool for the players, but for our esports scene that we pour money into, we would also like it to be very interesting. And having a versatile, complicated game that's always changing means more viewers and means more entertaining games. And it also means storylines too. If you're like the best player in Dota and the game doesn't really change much, you pretty much just become the best player until you lose your it factor or whatever the fuck, your mechanical skill.
You get
if
too
the
old
patch
to
is
react in
changing,
time.
if the patch is always changing, then you don't have like a team that like in Dota, there's not a team that dominates for like 6 months. It doesn't exist.
They like really like go on and off. Like,
but I mean, like to be fair,
will win, and
I gotta say, like TI3 was the last international I watched from beginning to end, and Alliance won every single game, every single match except for one.
Yeah,
like, they only dropped a single game.
Where did they go after that?
But they ended up winning the tournament. But I mean, at the same, I know they dropped off the map after that. But the fact that one team can win every single match in the biggest tournament is kind of a stomp. I mean, they solved that patch. Like that patch to them was like a solved equation. Like they
yeah,
knew
it was
the
also
system. Like
a
it was
different
fun.
game back then too.
Yeah, Dota does evolve, and I think
like,
we're definitely beyond that.
It's a completely different playing field. Like the skill level that everybody's at is so insanely high right now.
That's a good point.
That it's like that. This is why you have more underdogs winning in Dota right now, because it's not actually everybody is so insanely high skill.
Well,
somebody compared it to football, where they were saying that like teams were doing all these like really weird small things because everybody's sort of like at the margins right now, and everybody is so close to each other in like raw mechanical skill and stuff like that. You need to do other things to make you better, and that comes down to like teamwork, emotional stuff, being able to be a proper captain, making good calls. And when we watched that game earlier today, you saw
performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, probably. You saw that they were trying to mind game each other more than they were trying to actually play Dota. That 80-minute game that we watched today.
I mean,
was
that being
a mind
said,
game more than actually a game of Dota. They were like and I hate when they do this, when they compare it to chess, because it's not like chess. But they were literally kind of playing like a mental chess game with each other. The captains of the team were trying to do weird things that were like catching each other off guard. That whole entire game was not a game of Dota. Everybody was playing Dota so well, they were playing it 99% perfection. The winning part of that came down to who can out mind game the other person, and it had really nothing to do with Dota.
That being said, I mean, to understand that the teams were playing mind games, you have to have a certain amount of investment in the game to begin with. Like, you have to play Dota for quite some time to be able to understand, like, wow, these two teams are just doing some weird pocket strategies here to catch each other off guard. Like, the average normal person who's tuning into ESPN, going back to that whole Dota 2's on TV thing, they're going to see a bunch of the animated characters moving around on screen and some flashing color lights and some bars emptying.
I mean, don't know what's going on. It's not like CSGO where you can have a general idea of what's happening.
It's kind of
partially accessible. I killed him.
It's partially accessible because of the human element. Like, for instance, you could pick a team and root for them. Like, okay, there's a Chinese team, there's an American team. If you live in America, you're probably going to root for the American team. You're going to be like, wow, go USA team. And like, they've all got stories about, where they came from, whatever. You're like, I want to root for this team. And, their characters hit the other characters, and the enemy characters' bars go down. And you're like, yeah, awesome, great, I want that to happen. But to understand the game on a mechanical level and understand the tactics involved, the strategy in the mind games, you have to invest hundreds of hours into that shit.
I don't know if you can. I mean, like I just said right now, like 100 and something heroes out of 110 were picked. Like, that's a lot to keep up with. Like, you don't even know what's going on. Like, at all.
It's also, yeah, exactly. It's a lot to keep up with. It's the initial investment to get into Dota is kind of crazy. I can't even believe like I read the wiki all the way through and got invested as much as I did. But like, the more you read about the game, the more you want to read about the game.
Like, so Elite Pete hasn't played Dota in about a year and a half-ish, I think, right?
Something like that, maybe 2 years now.
And I've been pretty much playing like since then, and Alex has pretty much been playing since then, just about.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different game now. I don't understand anything about it anymore.
We probably spent about an hour and a half like explaining all the new shit to him because the game evolved so much. But this
still
stuff
Dota.
Isn't really exclusive to Dota, though. I think this is just what makes a good esport. So for those listening and they're like, oh, they're just droning on about Dota, I think this is relevant to every esport. But the thing is you're seeing this thing where like StarCraft died because it got boring. Like, that's literally why StarCraft died. I might be wrong here too. Somebody should tell me if I'm wrong here because I don't really know exactly why. But from the gist of it is the meta just became boring. The games were boring to watch. Everything became redundant, and people lost a lot of interest very quickly.
And the personalities were established. Like all the pro players who were there had been there forever. They played StarCraft 1 over and over and over. I mean, I think like the biggest name in StarCraft is Idra.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Everyone knows his story, and like he just kicks ass at StarCraft. The end. Like there's in Dota 2, there's always new teams coming up with new backgrounds. You're like, I want to root for this guy. I want to see where he ends up. There's incentive to follow these people because everyone likes rooting for an underdog. Everybody likes rooting for some kind of cause or some kind of hero or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's part of sports. Is
if you play the game,
for the dark
you've
horse.
got favorite. Yeah, if you play the game, you've got favorite characters, and you love seeing them pop up in pro games. You see like your favorite character get played to their potential and all that great stuff. But that all involves like a certain interest in video games to begin with, and I mean, I just don't know if the world is ready to have, video games considered sports. That's kind of ridiculous to me, even still. I mean,
I think
believe
like
me, like
20 years from now,
I don't think
it will
Dota
be.
will be the sport either.
I watched the
Because-
International tonight, and I thought it was great, but at the same time, I recognize that the average Joe is not going to be into that kind of thing.
It's not even about being
Yeah.
into it. As far as Dota is, the amount of time that you have to put into it to basically understand like a basic level is insane. Like,
But you don't have to understand
I
the
think
game
you
super well to
definitely do.
appreciate it. Like you can watch the game, and like I said, like okay, I'll root for this
But
team.
you
They
gotta
got a
at
USA
least
flag.
put like 100 hours into the game to understand like basic stuff. Like last
Pretty
day
much.
Or read
team
about
fighting.
it.
Or
I mean,
read about it. And
like-
reading, nobody's gonna sit there for like 20 hours reading about a game. They're gonna play the game.
Yeah,
That's how you
especially
really
like
learn it.
like a blue collar like American that's
Whereas like
at home on his lazy boy watching.
But keep in mind
esport,
that
or
the
whatever
times
top
are
10
changing.
plays.
I mean,
Yeah,
in
that's what I'm saying.
20
like,
years, man.
years, maybe, because like everybody that's grown up has played a video game at least once
Exactly.
in their life.
I mean, we'll probably see competitive first-person shooter of the day, whether or not it's Call of Duty in 20 years or something else. Like we'll
well,
probably
the thing
see
is, I
some
think
really
anybody
popular
can watch
games.
CS:GO though, and because I'm not saying that like CS:GO is for dumb people because I'm sure those people are just as talented as the Dota people.
It's pretty cerebral, yeah.
Its bottom line is easier to get to than Dota is. Dota's bottom line is so difficult to understand. The basic fundamentals of Dota requires so much effort and understanding compared
got
to
me
like
there.
CS:GO. Like I can sit down with my dad and watch CS:GO, and I bet he'll pick up about 80% of what's happening right away, right off the bat, because a gun is a gun, and there's really only so many ways that you can shoot a gun. There's one way to shoot a gun at the person, and there's a grenade, and a grenade is a grenade in real life, but some fucking anamorphic watermelon-looking sea monster that makes tentacles fly from the ground that makes everybody stop moving is a little bit harder to understand because then
Why
you
does
gotta
it
figure out-
matter that they stopped moving? Why are all these lights
Yeah.
going off?
Also,
why is
just-
this mermaid singing? Why is everyone
Yeah, I
standing
mean,
still?
Yeah, that's
there's
two
so
heroes.
much like stuff that we've like watched like live, and you just don't catch it live on like Dota. You
And-
have
and
to
you'll
like
never-
rewatch it.
You'll
you
never
know?
appreciate a good use of those skills unless you've spent some time playing the game. Like if say Faceless Void, a hero in Dota 2, uses his ultimate ability, Chronosphere, which can lock down the entire enemy team for 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Like you're not gonna
3
really give a shit.
seconds.
Like no big deal if
But
they get a
even then,
5-person
like-
chrono. But if you played the game for several hundred hours, you're like, holy shit, he just disabled the entire enemy team. Wow,
I mean,
what a twist.
But that's the funny thing too. Like we're only mentioning
Nobody
ultimates,
would be
which is really
like-
kind of like a non-factor in a way because as cool as the ultimates on the heroes are, there are also 3 other abilities that are equally, if not more so, important because the ultimate is just sort of like this big thing, whereas the other 3 abilities kind of keep the rest of the game going. The ultimates only matter for small amounts of time, even though they're very key and important times. The
Yeah.
bigger picture is actually the
Yeah.
other spells because that's the rest of the game. That's how you lane. That's how you 99% of the fight is the other spells happening. The big ones are the ones that are obvious to you, but the other ones are, I think, really where people you're gonna get lost completely. It'd be like me watching fucking, I don't know,
I
some
think
other
the
shit.
the big thing.
Going
I
back to
think
the
the big
CS:GO
thing
thing.
with,
Sorry.
with like esports, like watching sports that you or esports that you've played before, like Dota, like watching them play your character, and they just know the ins and out of it, and like you'll see like a timber saw take on like 3 people and survive, and or like even in CSGO, you'll see like some guy like flashbang off like 4 walls and then make them hit the team. Like you wouldn't really get that if
Yeah,
you
and
didn't play it.
going back to the whole CS:GO thing, I gotta say, like I don't know if they've made any changes because I haven't watched competitive CS:GO in a long time, but it's a
Yeah, same.
first-person shooter, so there's 10 people in this match, and you only see it from one person's perspective at a time. So it's kind of hard to gauge exactly what's going on, who's doing what. I mean, you got to know, like, okay, like 2 people are going to be watching the A bomb site, and 2 people are going to watch the B bomb site, and like there's one guy roaming, and this guy's got an op, and you really don't know all this shit. Like, you just kind of like they scroll through different perspectives, and like the
But the
casters are
thing
trying their
is, though,
best to
it's
explain
like-
what's going on.
I think the
Yeah.
only thing about CSGO that you won't be able to understand immediately, now, and understanding and getting good at are 2 different things. So I'm not saying that, again, like, if somebody's like watching this or listening to this and they're like, oh, you're shitting on CSGO, you're saying it's easy. It's not. But
Oh, God,
I think
no.
you can understand CSGO a lot sooner than you can Dota.
Yeah,
Like,
the
half
basic
of playing-
concepts are simple.
Literally
Like,
half of playing Dota is figuring out what the fuck is happening when you start. Like, you don't have a clue. Like, when I play with people
Well, I mean,
who have
not
like
just
under
that.
like 500 hours, or even under like 1,000, even at 1,000 hours, like they're talking about shit to me, and I'm just like, that's wrong, that's wrong, okay, that's wrong too, that's wrong. And I'm
It's-
sure somebody who's higher skilled than me is probably like, yeah, that dude actually has no idea. Like, when I watch lower skilled people play Dota, I don't feel like they're even playing the same game as me, and they're not. But in
Dude,
CS:GO, it's still shoot the other person. Still like flashbang.
It's
Like,
circle
flashbang
jerky
is
to say that-
universal.
It's circle jerky to say that Dota 2 is a deep game, but it really is. Like, it's got a lot of complexity added to it, either through bugs
Just go look at any
that
of your
ended up
friends
being
that play Dota
features.
2 and see how many hours they have, and tell me it's not a deep, complex game.
It's a deep, complex game, but I mean, like, saying that, right off the bat is kind of pretentious. But I mean, like, there's just so many like exceptions to every single rule, and exceptions to the exceptions that you have to learn the game. I mean, Counter-Strike is a simple game. Like, 5 people spawn on one side of the map, 5 people spawn on the other side of the map. They run around, they shoot each other, or they plant a bomb and blow the shit up. End of the game. And I mean, like, you aim for the head, and people die. It's pretty great. And everything that spawns out from that is primarily based on tactics and strategy. And there's, of course, there's aiming and
And
there's,
mechanical skill.
yeah, mechanical skill. Sound is a big deal.
From a
in
viewer
Counter-Strike.
perspective, it's sort of like a normal sport like baseball.
It's much easier to follow
I
because
just
like people
think
click on
it's-
people and they die.
Yeah.
But if you look at
I think-
baseball, you can pretty much figure out what the fuck is going on, like about halfway through a baseball game. Like, there's things like stealing bases and stuff like that that's a little bit more advanced or, not immediate to you if you start watching baseball.
Speaking as a
like
person
right
who
away.
doesn't really, speaking as a person who
But-
doesn't really watch sports a whole lot, I gotta say, like, I don't like sports, but for some reason I can keep up with computer games a lot easier than I can regular sports. But you get the same feelings, you get the same experience from watching whatever competitive interest you have.
Yeah.
I think, though, like, CSGO is it's very comparable to, like, watching regular sports.
I feel
And
like
I
there's
guess
only
it makes
so
it
many.
technically a better esport because you can watch football and pretty much get the gist of it. Now, you might not know, like, what fourth down is or whatever and all these other things. But
You might not care who
Yeah.
Peyton Manning is, but whatever.
But yeah, you can
Yeah.
pretty much, like, watch football and understand that they're throwing an egg and the egg needs to go on this side and that's about it. Like, that's
Exactly.
pretty much it. Whereas
Like,
in Dota,
get the
like,
ball to this
you
side.
really can't sum up the game by destroy that building.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't complete it enough.
There's
Because
just like too
there's
many
so many ways to
situations
destroy
that
that
can
building.
happen.
These games go on for 40, 30 minutes uninterrupted, and there's just so much shit that goes on in the middle of it that determines the game. Like, there's not even one single event that says this is where they won. Like, it's too much shit to keep track of. So it's kind of like enjoyable if you're invested in the game, and I don't know if that's going to impact whether or not Dota 2 becomes, say, a mainstream or
I think
super
it'll be
watched or
mainstream,
adopted.
because it appears
feel
that
like- I
every
feel
other
like-
esport is dying right now pretty badly. Like, it
I just don't
it
see
seems
Dota
like
2
League of
becoming
Legends is
adopted.
dying. It seems
I don't
like
see
League of
Dota 2
Legends is
becoming
dying.
the
StarCraft
normie thing to
adopted
watch.
Dota, though. Pretty much all the people who played StarCraft went to League of Legends or Dota because it's pretty much a dead game right now. and Overwatch. Oh, you want to know something? Have you seen the statistics for how many people left other games to play Overwatch, at least momentarily?
Yeah, like all the leagues, like player base, like pretty much went to Overwatch
So there
or
was
Dota.
like a Twitter post about how many people went to go play Overwatch when it came out, and they had League of Legends, like some other games too. Dota was almost entirely unaffected by it. Like it went down by like 0.25% or something, whereas other games like lost like 20% of their player base. I mean, it's only temporarily because the game just came out, or maybe it's permanent. I don't know, but it was at least initially how many people left. Whereas Dota like was just fucking everybody was still there.
How many games you got in your Steam library, guys?
Me, I don't even know.
I think I've got like 150 some odd.
I have
Like
134.
200.
But
Yeah,
like,
I have 195.
I had 100 plus games in my Steam account, but all I played was Dota for a while, all day, every day. Like, it was just the thing I did, you know? Like, I didn't give a shit about the other games. I would still buy games on sale. I'd be like, oh, cool, what a neat game. I'll buy this. And I would still play Dota.
Half of my games are Humble Bundle. And also, you have to remember, Steam also counts DLCs as games too, which is really dumb.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when you go down to your library games list, your DLCs will be listed separately. So, like, I have like 5 Democracy 3 games, or actually 7 or 8, and like 5 Universal or Europa Universalis games. I have like 3 or 4. I think the Humble Bundle actually like destroyed my Steam library as far as like making it like just massively huge. It looks like I don't.
I stopped buying Humble Bundles after like
tons
the
of
fourth
money
one.
and I don't buy games.
Like around like the 4th or 5th Humble Bundle, I was like, I'm not even playing these fucking games.
Yeah, same.
But it's only a
But
fucking
you gotta get
dollar,
the
man. It's
trader.
$1.
Gotta get those trading cards, fam.
True.
That's a humble bundle.
Seriously. It's like a lifesaver.
Humble
If
Bundle
you're
made a
poor,
killing,
like the
though.
Humble Bundle, it literally like allows you to have fun. If you're just like
Not to mention
completely
they have-
poor, you spend $1 to get 4 games.
When
4
they have
good
the,
games usually.
Android games on sale, the smartphone games, part of the Humble Bundle. Like, I mean, these stupid games can cost like $5, $6, $7, $8 a pop on your phone, man. I'm not gonna pay $8 for a phone game. I'm not gonna pay $5 for a phone game. $1 for 4 games? Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pay a quarter for a smartphone game. That sounds fair.
Yeah, they charge a lot for smartphone games. I don't understand how that works. I feel like the only way to make money off of smartphone games is by copying the same formula that every other smartphone game that's free free does, which is like the microtransactions after you run out of time because you want to upgrade your fortress to level 3
Skinner
and you don't want
box.
to wait an hour.
Skinner box, man.
Shit's fucking weird.
Do people actually buy that shit though?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I bought the stuff on Pokemon Go, but that was only because I couldn't spend my Google Play credits that I got from doing Google Play surveys any other way. Which I realized that was really funny. Like, it never clicked in my head. So I do something called Google Opinion Surveys, which is where they give you a survey every like fucking whenever they want. And the surveys are literally only 3 questions, and they give you like 30 cents each. And I was thinking about how the fuck are they paying all of these people? How are they paying so many people so much money for doing 3-question surveys? They go straight to Google. I don't think they go anywhere else because it's really like it's about ads. That's what the questions are asking you about. And I realized you can only spend the money on Google Play stuff, which essentially means is they're not actually giving you $3. They're giving you 1 download for something. So I just use all of mine on Google, or Pokemon Go, because I'm not going to buy some dumb, stupid fucking app so I can make my farm bill go faster or some stupid shit. I don't know.
I got Super Hexagon on Steam, and it was fucking amazing. And
That
I
game
paid
is
the $2.
awesome.
I paid $2 to get on my phone too. And that's the only smartphone game I've ever paid like the full price for up front on the App Store because never played it. I think I had it on my iPod like years and years ago.
Awesome.
I've only paid for the one meme unicorn game that Adult Swim had like a few years
Robot
back.
Unicorn.
Yeah, that game was really addicting though.
I never
played
played
it. Was
it.
a really cool thing that I felt like didn't get the respect it deserved. The arcade on Xbox.
You know
They had
what?
some
Those games
sick
Oh
are
yeah,
great.
that
games.
was pretty
But
good.
here's my beef with the Xbox Live Arcade, okay? So if you're not hooked up to the internet or not signed into your Xbox Live account, you can't play the shit you paid for. My best friend had an Xbox, and he had Perfect Dark and a bunch of other really awesome party games on there, but he lived out in the middle of fucking nowhere where he had no internet, so we couldn't play half those games 90% of the time.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it was bullshit. Like,
That's
why do I
really
need an
dumb.
internet connection to play a 4-player party game in Perfect Dark, man?
Dude, Geometry Wars is shit. They used to sell these games too, where it'd be like 20 arcade games in one for like $30.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
My grandma got me one for Christmas,
Just-
and
just spend
honestly, that was actually like better than getting a real game. I spent so much time playing all those, like Texas Hold'em and Uno and fucking what else? Zuma was on there. Geometry Wars. They had
Just spend
Monopoly on there.
spend an afternoon downloading the demos and finding cheap indie games to buy.
Yeah,
I mean that was
spent
fun.
a lot of time doing that.
Download like 10 demos, play them all back to back to back, and like end up buying maybe one of them. That was pretty cool.
I bought a lot of those arcade games, but I think the one I put the most hours on, I guess you can consider arcade, was Super Monday Night Combat or whatever.
That game was fucking sick.
That game was fucking fun as shit.
And that game died so fast and so fucking hard. That was actually the only game that tried to incorporate itself into being an esport in the game, which is really weird. It was very like meta and fourth wall breaking. It was actually kind of a lot like Overwatch in the sense that it was like this casual game with a competitive level with very cartoony characters, and you were kind of like awarded fake points for doing well in the game, and you were like shown off to do like the best. I think there was like an MVP thing or something, right?
Yeah, there's a play of the game on that, I think.
Yeah, so it was cool. It was kind of like it was a lot like Overwatch in the sense that you were in this universe where people were like, "Good job, you did great," and you had like a role and you were doing something. But Monday Night Combat was like the only game that I know about where you were playing an esport in the game, basically.
Yeah, she was awesome. Like, there's like a crowd like watching you too.
Yeah, and they would like cheer you on.
Yeah, that game was fucking great. I used to play that with
fucking
Dylan.
ruined it. And you know what happened? They fucking tried
Wait,
to make
why'd
Monday
they ruin
Night.
it?
Remember Monday Night Combat came out on Steam, and it was trying to be like a MOBA or some shit. It was like the same thing, but it was supposed to be like a third-person MOBA. And literally all they had to do was keep the same exact game and just update some shit. Maybe make like a new
I mean,
role.
that's what it was on the Xbox, though. It was like kind of like a MOBA. You had to destroy the money ball. Remember?
That's what a real MOBA is. Not like, I mean, Dota's technically not a MOBA. I mean, it is a MOBA, but it's not. It's more like an action RTS with like, because it's literally an RTS just with one unit or like 3 units or like 1 to 3 units really. It's not like a fucking mobile online, whatever the mobile multiplayer online battle arena. That's what Quake is. Quake is a MOBA. But like they switch these terms. I don't know why. Maybe it's a marketing thing or something.
I think it's almost certainly a marketing thing. I heard Riot started that term.
Yeah, it's not a MOBA. It's not a multiplayer online battle arena. That doesn't describe Dota. Dota is described by an action real-time strategy game. That's exactly what Dota is.
You can really tell that we're dotards because all we talk about is fucking Dota and how shit League is.
I think it applies to
like
League too.
A lot of things.
I don't think that's a multiplayer online battle arena. There's no battling going on in Dota. There's no arena format at all. Quake is a fucking arena.
Quake 3 Arena, man. That's the name of the game.
Literally, like.
Yeah.
What is League of Legends and Dota and fucking Heroes of New Earth and the other one I can't remember, the Blizzard one. Heroes of the Storm. That is an RTS with 1 unit. That's literally what it is, an ARTS. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Riot picked up that term MOBA.
Well, here's my conspiracy theory.
Let me look it up while you talk about your
League of Legends was pretty obviously like supposed to be like a replacement for Dota because the early advertisements and the banner ads that Riot put out were like, don't deal with disconnectors or lag in Dota, man. Stop
Well,
playing
it's
Warcraft
made by
3.
the
Come
same
play League
people
of
who.
Legends.
It's made by some of the people who made Dota, and in fact, Riot tried to kill Dota. They tried to do everything in their power
Right.
to stop Dota from being
Well,
made by frivolous
like-
lawsuits and threatening to patent and that patent trolling and shit like that.
What I'm getting at is like the
Right,
short
Scum.
version of what I've said is that League of Legends is a Dota knockoff. Like the end of story. Like it was supposed to be a Dota, but slightly better. And
Yeah, Riot
So-
invented it, by the way. You were right.
the only way that they could really describe and like they needed a genre, they needed a marketing term, and they couldn't say ARTS or RTS. They picked multiplayer online battle arena or mobile.
That sounds more
Riot
exciting,
began
to
to
refer
be
to the-
honest.
Riot began to refer to the game's genre as multiplayer online battle arena.
I'm almost 99% certain it was just their term for League of Legends, because I don't remember any other games being described as MOBA before League ever. Like Quake 3 is an FPS. No one has ever called it a multiplayer online. What the fuck is a multiplayer online battle arena, dude? Like no one wants to say that out loud ever. That's cringy as fuck.
That's what gets you. You're like, what is
play-
it?
Multiplayer online battle arenas? It doesn't even tell you anything about the game. It just tells you there's multiple people and they're all trying to compete against each other.
I think the buzzword is battle arena.
Battle arena? But like, shit, man.
I feel like
if
that's
two
the
people
only
are
thing
playing
that
a
actually
competitive
applies
game.
to Quake, and it doesn't apply to Dota at all or League of Legends. It's not an arena. An arena implies that there's some sort of sport-like thing going on. Where isn't Quake supposed to be like a sport-like thing? Like the game is actually like people shooting each other in like a sports-designed arena.
Yeah, storyline wise,
Yeah.
basically like all these super crazy awesome champions across the universe basically got abducted by this evil force to compete in a gladiator style combat. And like every time they would get killed, they would just be revived by this evil force, and they competed for his amusement, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what the lore for Dota is too. Dota is supposed to be like there's some universe shit happening, and there's like this little world, and there's some crazy shit happening on the world, and there's this like moon, and the moon, like it's called the Mad Moon, and it makes all these heroes, all these people who inhabit this world like crazy, and it makes them fight each other, and they want to go destroy these other two things, and they're like stuck in this eternal battle of fighting each other. But it's not an arena. It's not like there's nobody watching. It's not supposed to be like who can win the battle. It's like no, there's this fantasy thing happening where some moon is like brainwashing the whole world of creatures to fight each other to destroy these things that are kind of like arbitrary set things. But it goes deeper than that too. There's like gods and shit like that. It's literally like something out of like a fucking Greek myth. A lot of it is stolen from like old Greek myths and stuff like that. And I don't know what League of Legends is because
Isn't that what Smite is?
yeah, Smite's pretty cool. I like Smite.
All right, so here's a question:
Shout out to Smite.
Who made Smite?
would
High Res, I think.
Would you guys rather live in a world with only single player games or only multiplayer games?
Only multiplayer.
Only multiplayer games.
Really?
Yes.
I only play multiplayer games.
To make other people mad.
Yeah, exactly.
So literally
the
just
feeling-
to shit on somebody.
Exactly. The feeling you get from shitting on someone is so good. Like
Whether
just
it's like verbal shitting or actually like winning the game.
the satisfaction
Or
of
physically
superiority
shitting.
over someone
Yeah.
else, like making someone
Defecating on
else's
people is
day
fun.
work.
Yeah, shout out to Sam and his art base. Got shitted on.
Good feelings are a zero-sum game. If you can take good feelings away from someone and give them to yourself, then video games are the best way to do that.
Seriously though, like aside from like pooping on people, like winning a game that's multiplayer is
It's gratifying as shit
literally
for no
a fucking
reason.
high. You literally get
Especially
high.
like if you get like
it's like
you
winning
do
anything.
something like fucking colossal in it. Like if the game has like a play of the game, like in Overwatch, you fucking feel good about yourself. You're like, yeah, I fucking did that.
Let's be
if you
honest,
kill-
guys. The only reason why anybody plays
Seeing,
Search and
by
Destroy on
yourself.
Call of Duty
Yeah,
is because there's like 4 guys fucking watching
my
you when
God,
you're the last
yeah.
one alive. That's the only reason why anybody plays Search and
Yeah.
Destroy.
You
Not because you use
clutch
tactical.
that shit and then you talk shit.
It's for those moments in between the lobby. It's for when your whole team is dead and they're watching you. That's why everybody plays Counter-Strike. That's why everybody plays Search and Destroy on Call of Duty. It's literally
Everybody
about
wants to
being
be the hero.
number one on the leaderboard. That's all it's about.
Yeah.
if you're the
That's why
top
we used
fragger,
to
yeah.
play fucking Search and Modern Warfare 2 just to fucking yell at little kids and shit
And the thing
And
about Modern Warfare 2 is like you got the nuke after 20 kill streak, whatever. So like
yeah,
everybody wanted to be the guy who like dominated the
yeah,
pub and got 20 kills in a row and like ended the game because he was too good.
exactly. Because I remember everybody had like that nuke equip, like just in case, you know, they have
Just in
that one
case.
game. Even though most people like really didn't get it. And then I remember like if you get a nuke, like you're the shit at school, you know, like if you're a fucking freshman in high school.
It's literally
It's
all
kind of
about
crazy.
winning. That's all the thing. That's like the only thing that matters. But then again, we're all like good American boys here, so maybe it's not the same to other people, but it's really about winning. Like, at least for Dota, and okay, I know we keep bringing up Dota, but that's
Jesus
pretty much what we spent
Christ.
thousands of hours on. So, but it's still relevant to anything else. Like, just fill in every time we say Dota. Just fill it in for any other game.
Your game of
Winning
choice.
in Dota feels so fucking good. Winning a game that you know you should have lost. Same exact thing in Counter-Strike. When you're fucking 6, 8, 10 rounds behind the enemy team and you win 10 straight rounds in a row and beat them, that is exhilarating. You're literally like, you're having your own international, your own personal Super Bowl where you're overcoming this fucking faggot on the enemy team. You keep saying that you're a bottom fragging shitter, and you climb through your own team and you get on the microphone and you say, all right, guys, we're gonna fucking shit on these guys because they're all stupid and their moms are whores, and fuck all of them. And there's like literally no reason to hate them, but you just hate them. You hate them so much.
If
And
those
then you just
people were
win at the end of the
yeah.
teleported,
game, and then you shit
those
talk
people
them, and then half the time you end up adding them and play with them. Like, it's just always like that. Like, it's literally only about winning. It's
if the
only
enemy
thing that
team was
matters.
teleported into your bedroom at that exact moment, you'd probably
You
buy them
fucking
all
kill
a beer
them.
and hang out with them. No,
No,
you
you
wouldn't
fucking
kill
kill
them.
them.
Like
I
you
would
don't have
kill all
anything
of them.
against these
I
people.
would
Like
kill them.
you just
I'd
fucking
fucking
hate them
kill
in the
every
game.
single one of them.
Outside
then-
of the
but
game,
next
ruin
game-
my games.
Next game when they're on my team, they're my best fucking friend. They're
Exactly,
the best player
like-
in the
Hell
league.
yeah.
these people don't matter outside of the game. Like if they're anybody else, but because you're playing against them and they're the obstacle in the way of you feeling good again, fuck those guys and fuck their mothers too. I'm gonna shit on them, and you guys are gonna help me.
Yep, that's pretty much how it is. I don't know how people play video games and they're like, it's just a game. Like, go outside, all right?
Yeah, go
You
eat
know,
a dick,
fucking-
man.
It's just a
My
game to me.
self-esteem is riding on the back of this game.
All
It's not
right,
even that.
I,
like,
I do say it's
you
just
should
a
not be
game,
playing
but like
a
if I'm
ranked-
fucking 1 hour and 30 minutes fucking invested in a Dota game and I'm fucking carrying my fucking balls off, it's not just
Look,
a game.
I'm gonna
that shit's
fucking
fucking
go into
life.
the movie theater and I'm gonna fucking rip up the fucking screen. It's just a movie, guys. I know you paid for this and you spent time. It's just a movie. Also, you're gonna have to sit here for the rest of the movie, by the way.
But if I'm
Come
playing
on.
fucking over meme and like, you know, I'm fucking relax mode. You know, that's when it's.
But if you're
just a
playing
game.
Overwatch and ranked,
oh fuck,
motherfucker, you better be
I
trying
get
too.
mad. I get fucking furious.
Because it's a number attached to your name that's attached to you, and it tells you how good you are
Exactly.
as a person.
Yeah, but at the same time, like on the real though, like memes aside, you're kind of like signing like a social contract when you queue that rank. You're saying I'm gonna try, and I think it's really annoying, and it's really I don't like the word disrespectful, but it's just really like shitty. It's just like you're like a shitty person if you go into any ranked game and you're like fucking around or like you know like fucking with your team, and everybody does it when they get pissed off, and that's totally fine. Like obviously
yeah.
you're gonna get pissed and throw the game for your team because you're angry. Fuck them. Or maybe it's just you're not having a good day. But you can't really get surprised when people are angry because like it's like a social contract when you search any ranked game that you're going to at least try to get better.
Yeah,
Definitely.
because
try to
that's
do well.
that's the whole reason. It's
Yeah.
like,
In ranked,
hey,
you're
I want a
queuing-
bigger number. You know.
It's literally
See,
like me
like,
going
I'm
into a
gonna-
movie theater and playing loud music. Like, what's wrong, guys? Like, is this a problem?
No, I think a better analogy is using your phone at the movie theater. Or,
Yeah,
you
with
know, having
your phone music
Yeah.
on though, because you're going there to do a specific thing, and somebody's like, "It's just a movie, guys. It's just a movie. Like, chill."
Oh,
Like,
you
I know
can
you
just
paid
watch
for
this
it.
at home. You know.
Yeah,
well, there's a
just
difference
watch it
between coming
later.
home from work
Yeah,
and you
I
want to play a
paid
video
money.
game, and you queue up unranked because you know, like it's been a long day. I want to have some fun and relax with my friends. I don't really want to give a shit. I just want to play some cartoon characters hitting each other with swords. And there's a difference between that and queuing for ranked, which is where I want to win and get better at Dota. Because
Well, it's the whole-
there's more investment there because
Yeah.
like instead of like I want some entertainment, you're queuing for I want to win.
I like that about CSGO though, because it seemed
Yeah.
like a lot of people in CSGO, when they queue ranked, they are in there with the intention of winning a lot more often and at least in my experience in Dota and the lower ranks, a lot of people will auto queue ranked as if that is their normal matchmaking and not give a shit.
Here's my question for you.
But I think that's across
my
all video
question.
games. The higher you go up in the skill rating, the more seriously people will take the rank because they put in the time and the work. And people in the lower ranks will automatically just auto search ranked. I think it's like that for every game. And for everything, really, in life. If people are really bad at something, they kind of just...
The insistence on performing well in rank mode increases the toxicity of the community?
It's just how the community is managed.
Yeah.
Because some people turn into fucking shitheads when they're in ranked, man. Like, I'm not even saying, like, hurt feelings police type shit. I'm just saying, like, some people literally set fire to their friendships in the middle of ranked games because they care about this game so much.
You don't care about the game that much, then. Honestly, if you're shit-talking your team from the beginning, you don't care about ranked. Your objective is not to win.
Yeah, like, my problem
like, the moment
is,
you
like,
start bullying somebody in the game, like, bullying, like, calling out all their mistakes, you stop caring about winning. That's the only time I flame people in Dota now. I've had this sort of, like, enlightenment where I was like, you know what, fuck this. And I do this across all games now. I only flame people when I know we've already lost the game and I'm trying to get some sort of, like, okay, well, this guy was a piece of shit to me all game. So if I make fun of him, I'll probably feel a little bit better for now, and it'll help me cope with the loss. But I'm not going to do it when we still have a chance to win, because there's no point, because then I don't win.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always explain that to people in game. Like in Counter-Strike 2, it happened. People are just flaming the bottom frag. You're like, who cares? Win the game. It's not an AOL chat room. It does not matter what you say to him. He will forget you the moment this game ends, and you will too. And it gets people to stop. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? You can flame him when we lose. Like, then go at him and call him a faggot. You can go kill him.
Add him on Steam and tell him you're going to go to his house and shoot his family. Like, I don't care.
Go shoot his family. I don't care.
Just wait until the game is over.
The only thing that matters is winning. That's the only point in any game is to win. So just win right now, and then after the game, you can go ham and you kill him for all I care.
Throw that shitter under the bus and bait him in the game and make him die so that way you can succeed. But I don't care. Just save all of your vitriol and hatred for after the game so that way we have a chance to increase my internet points so that way I can feel better about myself tonight.
Exactly. And I find that if you tell people, and I had a lot of people on Counter-Strike and Dota have this, they're like bitching at somebody and I tell them that and they're like, yeah, you're right. Like, fuck this guy, but like I kind of want to win too. Like, it seems like people sort of lose sight of winning. I know I did for a long time.
This is a treasure trove for psychological studies. Like, I feel like psychologists can have a field day with watching people play Dota.
Well, the Dunning-Kruger effect is basically all online video games and sports.
Not even Dunning-Kruger effect, because that's pretty well understood. But I mean, like, the cognitive dissonance of losing, man. Nobody wants to accept the fact that maybe they were responsible or culpable in some way for losing a game of Dota or any competitive video game.
It's
almost always your fault.
Unless somebody leaves a game or some shit, it's always your fault. And same thing across all games. Unless it's like Heroes of the Storm or some shit. Because that game, I've tried to carry that game.
How many
and I've
people
seen people try to carry. In Heroes of the Storm, and you can't.
Nobody will ever say like, oh, okay, maybe not nobody. That's a little bit too far. But most people will never say like, wow, I really dropped the ball, guys. That was my bad. Sorry we lost. Haha. Everyone's going to point fingers at someone else and say, well, you're the reason why I couldn't do X, Y, Z. And they're going to say, well, this stupid shitter over here is the reason why I couldn't do A, B, C, so fuck you. And it just goes down the line. Like, nobody wants to say, like, hey, I fucked up, and that's why my internet points went down this game.
But what if you have a Slark walk down mid with a gem?
Fuck that asshole.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just griefing. Same thing at Counter-Strike. Like, if somebody just leaves the game, that's just another way of griefing. Or if they start walking down mid and giving the enemy team ops, you're just griefing. Like, and again, like, it's like, why did you start the game if you don't want to win? What is the point of seeing your time, my time, and you're hurting your own MMR or ranking?
It wastes your time in such a phenomenal way, because if you like lose a game, you lose a lot of more MMR than if you win a game. So like some asshole who's deliberately throwing the game can cost you like an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours of your fucking life.
Well, you have to double it because now you have to
play another game just to get that MMR back.
Yeah,
like that man
games
has
like
literally
CSGO,
cost you money and time.
In games like CSGO, where it's not as linear, or games like Overwatch 2, where the game skill is quite different in between games, So in Dota, for those people that don't know, you essentially like 90% of the time get plus 25 MMR, which is your ranking, or minus 25. But in games where there's like rankings like gold, silver, and stuff like that, the amount that you go up is not clear. It's not constant. It changes. So sometimes it might take you 10 games to go up a rank in CSGO, and sometimes it might take you 3, because in the gold Nova 1, or like the gold rank 1, or even in League of Legends, I know it's similar, in the generic gold 1 stage, the like skill distribution across that gold 1 stage, from the people at the top, the ones closest to gold 2 and the ones closest to silver 3, I'm just making generic things up, is different. So in games like League of Legends and CSGO and StarCraft, I think StarCraft is a little bit different, but in StarCraft as well, losing a game is not clearly losing this certain amount of points that you can see. So it's even worse in those games when you throw, because now you don't know if the game that you lost maybe was a game that not only could you have won, but that win may have meant more because the team was actually better.
Microphone muted.
But you also have to consider the distribution. You know, like the entire player base is split up into certain percentages, and like say like 50% is going to be in the silver bracket or the bronze bracket. You know, so in order to be better than say 35% of the player base, to be better than bronze 1, you know, it only takes a couple games to be better than a fucking shitter. And then to be better than, say, a silver 1, it takes a couple dozen games. And then to be better than most gold players, that's like maybe 5% of the population, you know, it takes a lot of time. And to reach the diamond level, whatever that may be in whatever game you're talking about, that takes a lot of fucking autism and grinding and patience, because you have to be better than everybody at this game. You have to be like in the top fucking 5% or whatever, you know, 2% of this fucking player base. And that's really, really fucking hard. And you get punished hard for losing because, you know, nobody really deserves to be in the top tier. And I gotta say, ladder anxiety is real. And it fucking blows. Because when you actually reach like a middle tier, like when you're kind of satisfied, like you're better than average, like you finally cracked gold, and you're like, no, I'm not fucking shit at this video game. You don't want to play anymore because there's so much of a great chance that you'll lose rank for playing instead of all these dozens of hours you've invested in the game, that you don't even queue anymore.
Well, I think that's why unranked exists. Ranked is supposed to be when you're ready to play in a serious manner, and unranked is supposed to be when you don't feel ready to play in a serious manner. And I think for a lot of people that are higher skilled, they seem to understand that because they put more value into their rank, because they put more time into it. Or I think most people who are high skilled in any game are not savants. They're not people who walked into the game and just started playing, and they're like, wow, I'm really good, and here I am with my good ranking, like 5 hours into playing this game. So for them, when they feel confident enough to play ranked, they will play ranked because they're like, hey, I'm not going to lose this whatever rank that I got, that I spent, like a year trying to get, and I spent, time reading guides and learning and watching pro players or high-level players play in any game. So I think that's why in lower skill things you find people leaving the game, because it's just like the de facto, like, unranked and ranked for a low-skilled player is essentially the same. But for a high-skilled player, unranked is like my warm-up. Or it's just like, I got home from work, I'm kind of tired, I just want to bust out the game, I don't want to take it seriously.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot to be said for the athletic mindset, especially in the top tiers of MMR ladders. Like if you've got the attitude that you're going to learn this game and learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, and just invest all of your free time into learning about this game and getting good at it. I mean, if that's your thing, then great, But it takes a lot of fucking effort, and you have to have the kind of mindset to where you're not going to get pissy over minor mistakes and losses. You're going to fuck up plenty of times, but you're going to learn from that. And it takes a kind of crazy self-disciplined attitude to turn something like that, a professional career or whatever. You really got to have the kind of mindset where you don't give up, and that's not the kind of thing that you really want to have to invest in when all you want to do is come home from work, win a few internet points, and feel good about yourself for kicking the ass of some defenseless loser on the other side of the internet. Because ranked ladders, I mean, inherently, like it's all about matching it with someone who's of equal skill and seeing who's better. Who's gonna walk away from this with a little bit more internet points. And sometimes all you want to do is just kick some ass, and ranked isn't really the place for that.
Even then,
'Cause
sometimes you
I've-
just want to come home from work and you're ready to bust out like a serious ranked game of Dota, and some guy ruins it, and people are like, "Why are you getting so mad, dude?" So for some people, like they just spent all day like fucking stressing out, and this is like their way to relax because playing ranked is and versus playing unranked in any video game. Playing ranked is obviously like it's that social contract where everybody's kind of agreeing that they're going to try their best. So when you're home and you got like a shitty work or a shitty job, or maybe you just want to relax, or maybe you just want to get away, escape a little bit. When you're in ranked and you're concentrating, you're in like the zone. You're in that game. You're not thinking about anything else. So when somebody kind of like ruins the game, it sucks you out of it. You're like, oh, here comes all this shitty stuff again. Here comes like, it's like a flashback to that shitty day that you just had, or not shitty, but it's that sort of like, okay, now this is not a game. Now this is not a competition. This is me babysitting some retard who's throwing a fit. Or something like that.
Yeah, this isn't me having fun. It's like work fucking .2. Fucking...
Yeah. But I mean, like, when you come home from work and all you want to do is play Dota, and you get on the game, and there's some fucking idiot who just throws the game and has a temper tantrum like a toddler, and you have to babysit them, and they're feeding couriers all game, or they're doing something to actively ruin your enjoyment of the game. Valve kind of punishes you for leaving. You can get away with it once in a while, but for the most part, you have to sit there and take it. And this could take up to an hour or more.
It's the same exact thing in CSGO.
Torture.
Happens a lot too. It is torture.
It's absolute torture because, like, entertain and have some fun, and now there's this asshole who you're stuck with. I mean, if you were to go out with someone, if you do some normie shit and find some other way to entertain yourself, if you were to like go to the movie theater and some retard is standing up saying, "Durr, look, I'm retarded. It's just a movie, bro." You can walk out and say, "I want my money back," and get your money back and go do something else with your time. But no, like in this instance, you are locked into the movie theater. You cannot leave until the movie is over. And this guy is just showing his ass.
Yeah, and if you leave, then they make you watch like a shitty movie for like 2 hours or something, or like you can't watch movies at that theater for like a week or two.
It's absolute hell. Absolute hell. I mean, I kind of have the if you can't beat them, join them effect. If someone starts throwing the game, I start throwing too. Because it's give up, man. There's no point.
I've had lots of games which people threw, and we
like...
won. And because somebody was able to talk the guy out of throwing and like relax, calm him down. But that's sort of again that thing where they're like, it pisses you off so much because it's like again, when you hit play ranked in any video game, you're saying play ranked. You're saying I want to play serious. And I want to be with other players who want to play serious, and they're not doing that, which is fine. I'm not asking you to play like your fucking life depends on it. I'm just trying to. Like, can you just be a person? In fact, you don't have to be a person. You can straight up mute everybody in the game and just be a bot. Like, just don't be a baby. Like, I don't want to babysit you. I don't want to have to talk you down. And a lot of the time I find myself being a person talking people down. Saying, all right, dude, like, here, check this out. Watch this. Here, guy on Dota, guy on CSGO. You can actually win the game, have fun right now, fuck everybody on this team. We're all faggots, including me, and you'll get out of the game sooner. You'll get out faster and you'll get more out of it. And they tend to actually just be like, okay. They'll just say okay because they don't want to admit that they're wrong, which is fine. But they'll usually say okay, and you can usually talk people out of throwing games. At least in my experience. The only time that I can't is if they speak another language, and that triggers me the most because all they say is "fuck your mom."
Yeah.
And
there's no way to like getting into them. Like...
In Dota 2, there was a way where if your entire team left the game altogether within 1 minute of each other, then you wouldn't be penalized for it. I don't know if that still applies.
It's still a thing.
But it's still kind of a gamble though, because like I don't know.
I
you
had
don't really
people
want to trust
come
internet
back
strangers.
and join the game to fuck everybody over before.
Exactly.
In
like
in CSGO, you can vote to forfeit, but you need like 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in League of Legends, you can surrender, and I think it just
But
takes
you don't
a
need
majority
5 out
vote.
of 5 for that, though.
Yeah, just a majority vote.
There's so many games of CSGO and Dota where people were like, all right, guys, let's give up. In CSGO, I've had people vote, like everybody except for like one guy voted to stop like forfeit, and we won the game. We're down like 8 rounds. They're on their 15th round. They need to win 1 round. If you haven't played CSGO, you need 16 rounds to win the game because it's essentially a best of 30 rounds. So if you win 16 rounds, it's impossible for the enemy team to win 16 rounds because that would then make it 32 rounds. So, and you can vote to end the game early. So I've had games where we were the enemy team was on their 14th or 15th round, where everybody on the team is forfeiting, and we all want to leave the game, and there's somebody who just doesn't vote, or somebody who votes no. And, we're like, well, we're here. We're stuck here. Might as well try our best. And we all try, and we win 8 rounds in a row. And we're like, fuck yeah! Fuck! We fucking did it! And then the game ends, and now, this is before when you were able to talk to the enemy team in CSGO at the end. Like, fuck you guys fucking suck! And it's just so much better than giving up. It's actually worth,
the 8 seconds of voice communication at the end of the game with the other enemy team, and you're just shit-talking them wow, we fucked you guys up. You guys fucking suck. Eat shit and
yeah, you weren't gonna give up 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, you still do that in Dota.
Yeah.
Something about shit talking. It just feels good.
Very, very rare still.
Monkey brains, man.
I'd say the comeback effect on CSGO is a lot higher. I don't
Than in
know. I
Dota?
don't really play CSGO.
No, I think the comeback effect in Dota is extremely high.
Yeah,
it's kind of
especially
engineered to have a comeback effect, though.
Especially online, because you don't know if that team. I guarantee you, if you fucking punish anybody at any, if you're in on a video game community that's similar to Dota, where people are on edge all the time, people are always pissed off, and people are always looking for a reason to fight with other people on the internet, which is most gaming communities. You best believe that the enemy team is going through the same exact shit that you're going through. So if you can just get on the mic, and it's the same thing in CSGO, but the comeback potential in CSGO is a lot more wave-based in the sense that, you don't win one round and then lose another round. You tend to win, 2 or 3 rounds in a row, because also there's, an economy in Dota, or not Dota, in CSGO, where you win a round, you get more money, so you can buy a better gun. And it's pretty simple like that. You best believe if their team is going through the same exact shit that your team is going through. The only difference is they're not at each other's throats because they haven't lost 6 rounds in a row, or they haven't lost a few buildings in Dota, or died a few times, or whatever.
I just like to point out for our listeners that another interesting little caveat about CS:GO is that if you lose the very first round of the game, then chances are the second round you're also going to lose, and you pretty much just accept that. The second round's going to suck hard, guys. Let's try to make it as good as possible, because you're going to have less money than the enemy team. You're not going to be able to afford good guns, and you're going to get steamrolled because they have bazookas and you have pea shooters still. It's a little bit back and forth, and you still have to try your best. Muted. But at the same time, you kind of have to roll with the punches and accept okay, we have no money, and the enemy team has $1 billion. We're fucked. And you have to make the best of it, and eventually strategize your way into.
In CS:GO, I always found that it tends to be some team will go it'll go 5-0 or something before the game kind of switches. It's just you're riding a wave of victory back and forth. It's obviously it's emotional too. You lose 8 rounds in a row, and all of a sudden, instead of watching your team play in between deaths, you're now all tabbing.
Oh man, that's too real. It's too real.
Or you lose a few rounds in CS:GO, and now you're not making calls on the mic anymore because you're kind of in a shitty mood. But to assume that the enemy team is not human beings that will do the same is always a gray area. Every game, and we're all just as guilty as everybody else, but there's always that one guy in the game that's all right, guys, just fucking do it. Just do it. Just do it. Nike, just do it. And then all you gotta do is just do it. You just fucking play. And before you know it, you're winning. And if you lose, then you lose. But statistically, giving up always results in a loss, right? You're never going to win a game you gave up in. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I think if you just tell people that, they figure it out themselves too. Most of the time. Obviously, you're going to get that pissy little bitch who. Some people just come into the game wanting to ruin it.
Just
they're not
fucking pissed off.
But they're pissed
you gotta
off
understand,
from another game.
Most of the people you play with on the internet are kids. I mean, I've always kind of noticed, I've probably gotten
in lower
more
ranks
arguments,
especially. That was more into CS:GO.
With teenagers than
in lower ranks in CS:GO. I always get with
almost always
13-year-olds.
You're dealing with 13, 14, 15, 16, hell, 18-year-olds, and I mean, here's some real elitist, pretentious talk in here, but they just don't have they're not grown up enough to accept like, okay, let's try to win this game. You know, like they'd rather have a temper tantrum. I mean, shit, I was there. Like I was 18. I would lose a Dota game. I'd feel really salty about it. I'd be like, wow, this guy's shit. Well, there's no point in playing anymore.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
him. He doesn't deserve to win.
When-
like you're
when
not
you're
going to lose
old
the same game.
When
Yeah.
you're old enough to understand, like, there's 4 other people and they want to win too, and you're like, okay, you know, it's for the greater good. I'm gonna stick this out. You know, that's when good shit happens. You have to have like the emotional and intellectual capacity to accept that, like, I'm gonna put my feelings aside and try to win here. Because like when you're dealing with kids, like literally daycare, like if you're dealing with a bunch of like 12 or 13-year-olds in your team, like good luck out there, man.
That was what I always thought was the nice thing about Dota. Even though there were a bunch of like people acting like babies, they weren't actually babies. I don't know if that's worse, but you don't really come across many 13, 14, 15, even 16. Most of the people that I encounter in Dota are 18 and above. Most of them. Most of them are like in their 20s.
Mom won't let me play games with blood in it, so, you know.
True.
I think it kind of makes it worse. Like, why is like a 5-year-old man like fucking crying on the mic? Like, one time there was some guy that was like, "Yo, bro, I work for fucking UPS. Like, yo, bro, I got a wife and kids. Like, I'm fucking whatever."
Mhm.
Like, and he
That's
just
really
started.
fucking great, but your Chronosphere sucked and you threw the
Yeah,
entire
I was like,
game.
alright, well, you still fucking suck ass. I remember like Justin was in that game.
Yeah, that was weird. And
Yeah.
oh my god, it's really rare that you see that on PC, but I remember on Xbox Live, it was like a bro, I have a 3-story house, bro. No, I have a fucking quad outside. Like, oh, I go fucking like, what the fuck does it matter? Like, not only does it not matter, but everybody here is lying. Like, let's just be real. Nobody here has a 3-story house. Nobody here has like 6 cars. Shut the fuck up. Number 2, nobody cares. I'm literally you're gonna forget about this too because it's not real, obviously. But no, you're not gonna remember. In 2 years, if I say, "Oh, that Call of Duty game where you called me the N-word like 40 times," you remember me? They'd be like, "What? Who are you? Which Call of Duty game was that?" Like,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Like, here's some real armchair psychology shit. I feel like people revert to the I have a 3-story house and a car here in my Hollywood Hills whenever they feel like they need to validate themselves immediately because they're feeling like they might be shit at a video game and they don't want to face it. Like, nobody wants to feel like they're responsible for failure. I mean, everybody's got a little bit of reputation riding on the line here. And so when the evidence starts stacking up and they start thinking like maybe I'm bad at this game, they start thinking, well, I've got a huge ass house and I've got a bitching car and a hot wife, so it
That's
doesn't
usually what it
matter.
boils down to.
Yo, bro,
Like
at
it's
least
just
I
a
have a
defense
life,
mechanism.
you know?
Like,
It's always
well,
that
I don't
shit.
play this game all day, so fuck
Yeah.
you.
I got a day job.
Like, their way to defend against feeling bad about losing is just to blame other people and say that they're better off. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
basics.
it
It's
either comes to like down to like
human
you're
nature.
a loser, you're
Human
a
fucking
loser,
nature,
or
man.
like haha, like I'm black and you're white, or haha, you're white, I'm black. Like fuck white people or fuck black people, or it's
fuck
just like,
American
bro,
pig dog. Wait.
yeah, that too. But I actually cannot stand like getting matched with somebody from like Peru or like the Philippines or something like that because like half of the
Racism
time,
warning.
yeah, definitely this is racist. Half of the time, people in like basically any third world country, if you're getting matched with them, there's a good chance that you're actually not getting matched with them. You're getting matched with like a profile that they're using on some fucking account in like a cyber cafe. And like that's just totally bullshit. Like you're not in this rank. Like you shouldn't even be here. Like just flat out. Like this is not your account. Or you're getting matched with a guy with an entirely different mindset than you were. If he loses a game, now this becomes like a shitting contest about how much of a not how much of a whore your mother is, not how much of a slut your mother is, but how much she resembles a dog. I don't know why they always revert to calling your mother a dog. It's like dogs are just like disgusting to them. Like most people here don't have like cute dogs, but over there, I guess like you just have stray dogs everywhere. So I can't stand getting matched with like people from the third world. Like I'm sure they're great in real life, but like I don't want to like match my normal American education that isn't that great to your most likely non-education at all, where my mother becomes a dog in your world because I missed a spell. Like,
all right, so here's a mildly racist story. When I played Dota 2, I had 2 accounts. I had my main account for when I actually wanted to play the game seriously, and I had an alt account for when I want to fuck around and be stupid. And on my alt account, I had like Mexicans because like I spoke a little bit of Spanish, and they were really cool guys. Like they were just cool people. Like they were chill dudes. Like they sucked at Dota. They fucking blew ass at Dota. Like they fucking sucked. But I liked playing with them. It was fun. I just would never play with them on my main account because I didn't want it to tarnish my MMR. You know, because my ranking, my internet points are too valuable. You know.
Yeah,
So,
me and
these
Tom
guys were chill. Like I like hanging out with them, but they had the most stupid, harebrained, dumbass strategies and the most idiotic tactics. But it resulted in some of the most fun games I've ever played in Dota. Like it just retarded stuff, but they were a blast to play with. I would never want them on my team in a serious game. But goddamn, were those guys they knew how to have fun, man.
I just can't stand playing with people from third world countries because they seem to be much more like. I can't talk down a guy who barely speaks English. If there's like if there's a guy who's fluent in English and he's like Americanized or like Westernized, I can like be like, all right, bro, like, okay, fuck everybody in this team, fuck you, fuck me, I fucking hate you, you fucking hate me. And I usually have like this generic speech that I give people when they start complaining. Yeah. I'm like, all right, fuck me, I'm a faggot, fuck you, you're a faggot, I hate you, you hate me, like, cool. But like, let's just win this game and get the fuck out of here so you don't have to ever talk to me again. Like, and that usually works. That works really well. But when I tell some guy in Spanish that, he doesn't understand what I'm saying. Like, he thinks I'm saying fuck you, like, literally. Or, like, he thinks I'm insulting him. Or I don't know. But because he's not fucking speaking English, I have to try to, like, just calm down. And calm down doesn't work. So, like, it just never works. I can never talk down like a Peruvian guy or like I say Peruvian because in Dota it's Peruvian, but I know in CSGO I've encountered many Russians and tried to talk them down and been like, can we just play the game? And they're just yelling at me in Russian. I don't know what to do. What do I tell this guy? I got mute him and we lose. Like that's it.
On my alt account in Dota, I played with a Russian guy once in a pub, and he was pretty cool. You know, I saw his name was in Cyrillic to start with, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. And so the first thing I said in the game was "Suka bliat" because, you know, why wouldn't you do that? And you know, he responded with "Suka bliat," and it went on for a while. And then after a while, like, you know, we were landing together, we were playing the same area of the map. For our listeners who don't play Dota, and I remember saying something like "fuck Putin" or something like that, and he responded with "Obama nigger." And this went back and forth all game. Like we were just shit talking each other, but like it was great because we weren't mad at each other. It was just like our idea of having a good time. Like we would just shit talk each other in broken whatever languages we were speaking. Yeah. It was pretty great. Like Obama got shit talked, Putin got shit talked. A lot of good things got hashed out. We fixed the Cold War pretty much.
I had a similar thing like that with an Indian guy, and we were all having fun, and he was like, we were talking shit, and I knew this. I knew this would make him mad, and I didn't like properly think it out. I was like, he's gonna think it's funny, but I knew in the back of my head if I called him a packy, he would get so pissed off. And I called him a packy, and the dude just went ballistic, and I could not stop laughing because I was like, for me, like if you call me like a fat American or like since I'm Middle Eastern, if you call me like an Indian or a packy, like oh haha, like,
oh
okay,
my
it's
God.
funny. But this dude went ballistic, and that's another thing that I cannot stand about playing people in the third world. There are things that they just find so fucking offensive that it's just so not offensive to anybody in a Western world. If I call your mother a whore or whatever on a fucking video game, you're just gonna say it back to me. Then like now it's the end of the world. Like now I killed your
Beach
family.
mother.
If you say yeah, and now you're never gonna hear the end of it, and now the game is over and the fun is all stopped. Like. Or if they say that to you, it's like now it's like for me it's like wow, you called my mom a whore like every other person
American.
on the internet. Yeah, they get really
Obama,
like
fuck.
Like I know Obama, like he's my brother or something. Like it matters to me that you don't like him. Like as if like half the country didn't vote for him, and along with every other president. But like they always insult like your leader. Like, all right, dude.
Okay,
like, cool.
Whatever.
You insulted a politician.
Nobody else here likes Obama either, so you know you're a good company. You fit right in with
yeah,
the
I keep
GOP,
getting
I
this,
guess.
every time I play. There was a game that I was playing. I can't remember. There was a game that I was playing recently. It was multiplayer, and it was not Dota 2 or CSGO. But they were just like "fuck Trump," and I was like, "Okay, like
okay, whatever."
Like
Sure.
a lot of people think that here too. Like you're not like, all right, dude. Like, and
it'd be really great if Trump became the face of American imperialism. He won the presidency, and like he was like the new Augustus Caesar. And like thousands of years from now, in history classes, they're gonna be talking about Donald Trump and how he spread American imperialism throughout the world or something.
I mean, we
That'd be
talk
great.
fondly of Napoleon, and he essentially like killed more people than Hitler did, as far as like causing catastrophes. I think that
Well-
might be wrong, or I guess a better example would be Genghis Khan.
Well, Trump hasn't hit office yet, so
There's
there's still a chance
Alexander.
that we could set a new record.
Yeah, we talk fondly of Alexander the Great, even though he caused a bunch of wars. Not that there's
Well, I mean, to
saying
be
anything
fair,
is bad, but
we talk fondly of Alexander the Great because he was a fucking badass, and you can't dispute that.
you can't really say that Hitler wasn't a badass. I mean, whether you like him, obviously most people don't like him, and he wasn't really like a good person. But you really can't say that Genghis Khan was a good guy.
The difference between the alt-right and Hitler is that Hitler had a girlfriend.
True. The alt-right is pretty cringy. But no, I mean, there's a lot of like historians that talk about how that's like a weird, like pirates, I
Oh,
never.
yeah.
Piracy,
they would
piracy was
fucking
sanctioned by the
rape and
state,
shit.
though, wasn't it? Like, you're better at history than I am.
Most of
but-
them were Spanish sanctioned by the state, but there's the pirates that you see that are caricatured in media and on Halloween are not like Spanish guys wearing like white shirts at the sea. They're like the Caribbean pirates that like rape the shit out of people, get drunk, and like burn like little fucking like little port cities.
Sounds like a good time.
I mean, it's kind
Definitely
of
does.
funny when you say it now, but if I was like, I'm just gonna dress up as a Nazi talking about killing Jews, like that's
Basically,
not
ISIS.
like, yeah, can you dress
I mean,
up as ISIS
20
today?
years
Like,
from now, we'll get
20?
there.
I don't know,
you
maybe like 100.
Empirically
Nah,
bad, but-
20.
Is there a single redeeming quality to ISIS? Like, they seem like they're like a comic book kind
make,
of
like,
like
good
mustache
music, I
twirling
guess.
evil villain.
Technically
like,
not music either.
Like, I can't even imagine a single good thing about. Like, they're so morally
Is there like a good
and
thing about
objectively
pirates?
bad.
What's
Yeah,
cool
there
about
is.
I mean,
like, but
The
now
stories, man.
They had
what
cool
Orlando
stories?
Bloom,
The
Johnny
sea
Depp.
songs and the shanties and stuff were pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
you can attribute that to literally all life at sea. You don't
Yeah,
see
I
people
know.
like fucking like idealizing like that. Yeah, I really like my great or like it's not like, oh, I've always wanted to be a guy at sea who dies because I didn't have vegetables for 3 years. Like that's not like a thing that
Scurvy.
you like. But like when you say like scurvy, or I'm a pirate with scurvy, like that's cool all of a sudden. But that's actually like no, your gums are falling out and your
People
fucking
think
shit's all green. Like
people rate pirates at the same level as ninjas, and that's kind of unfair when you think about it.
yeah, because ninjas are supposed to be like scummy pieces of shit that like kill you at night. Like
Yeah, they were dishonorable because they didn't have like a lord.
yeah, so there you go. Like it's cool to like be a ninja and like stab people in the back at night, but like, or like it's
But
cool
when
to be a
I do it,
pirate.
it's criminal, apparently.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like people say, like maybe in like a few hundred years, like you'll be seeing like kids dress up as like Nazis and shit on Halloween.
I don't know. We've done a really good job of vilifying Nazis. Like, those guys are pretty much like.
I think a lot of Europe has done a pretty good job of vilifying Napoleon at the time too. They hated the shit out of him,
Maybe you're right. Maybe
and
you're
Genghis
right.
Khan as well.
But
and I'm sure Alexander
at-
the Great was not liked by a lot of people at the time. It
Here's
wasn't
what
until
you,
much
here's what you
later.
gotta. Here's the thing you got to consider, though.
The thing
like,
is, though, is nothing really good came out of Hitler. But then again,
the
nothing good
propag-
came of pirates either.
the
but pirates
What are you
It's an
talking
institution.
about?
The propagation of
directly.
information in 2016 and years to come is insane. Like, the internet, for instance, the number one vehicle of transmitting information in the world right now. I mean, like, you didn't have that shit hundreds of years ago. So I feel like it'll be way easier to see that Hitler was a bad dude. You don't want to be like him in any way whatsoever. It's
No,
going to be
no,
more
it's
and
the
more
opposite.
ubiquitous, you know?
Look, listen to this. Think about it like this. If Napoleon burned down a village, or Napoleon went through a village and some people died, whatever, all of Europe will hate him and have zero reason to think he's good because there is no internet. There's nobody to defend him. There's just like, yeah, this fucking Napoleon guy, yeah, he just killed a bunch of people. Like, we should hate him. Okay. And then everybody hates him for like 300 years. And then nobody thinks twice about it because you just hate him and there's no like dissenting opinion because you live in a village where like tending to your cows is more important than thinking about whether you should hate Napoleon or not. Or tending to your crops. So I think it's the opposite. I think like there's more of a reason to like people who are evil, or not evil, but who are traditionally bad, or whatever the fuck you want to call them today, because there's actually a dissenting opinion that you can read about on the internet. Whereas before, it'd be like, nobody in the newspapers in Germany is going to, or not Germany, but like, I don't know, like Prussia or whatever at the time is going to be like, yeah, Napoleon's kind of good, guys. No, that guy's going to be fucking
Yo,
killed.
fuck Ottoman.
Like,
Yeah, I see where you're coming with that.
I think when the stigma goes away over time, people stop caring. Because
Fucking
like,
guy.
At the
like,
same time, there's not a
200
lot of
years from
redeeming
now,
qualities to
there's not going to be
Hitler.
many people from the Holocaust, or many people who like think about the Holocaust as like a thing, because the Holocaust
I
is
mean,
still
you still have
relevant.
to like prove it was real.
Okay.
Napoleon was a brilliant tactician, and Hitler was a shitty tactician. Like Hitler really didn't. Hitler was at the right place at the right time, in my opinion. Like
Yeah, but you have to admit that Hitler
I've
was
kind
at
of-
least good at speaking to people and getting people all riled
he
up
was an
about things that don't exist.
amazing he was an amazing public speaker. He was insanely charismatic and influential. And it's kind of insane that a guy who went to prison and then got out and wrote a book like rose to power that quickly and all.
Well, he
But-
went to prison for his political stuff.
Yeah.
You got to say, like, at the same time, Hitler's military tactics were pretty lacking. It was always generals that propped up the World War II war effort in Germany.
There's a lot of people that think had he not, like,
Insisted.
on fucking doing a bunch of stupid shit that people don't
Yeah.
agree with. I mean, his generals wanted to end the war like early on. They wanted to make it like a swift like thing. And actually, I'm completely talking out of my ass here, but I've heard that he essentially, like, his generals did not want to make this a long war where he was going to take over half of Europe, and he pushed for that and blah blah blah. And obviously, since if you disagree with him, you die. There's really not much room for theory crafting how it would have went because everybody who did disagree with him died. But
Yeah, it's a pretty
I
good
think it's
idea to
because it's
agree with
just too
Hitler.
recent. Like, I think Nazis will be like a funny meme in like. I mean, they're already being a funny meme, right? Like,
I mean, well, I
is-
think that's just
is Hitler
2016's
offensive
irony
to anybody
culture.
now? Like, most people my
that's-
age wouldn't find Hitler offensive.
That's American culture or Western culture and irony in a nutshell. I mean, the thing is today, like in today's pop culture, is to take things that are either offensive or like absolutely blown out of proportion, and then make fun of it, satirize it. Like abortion, 9/11, fucking Hitler. It doesn't really matter. You take something
It's actually
absolutely
amazing
grave
how
and
quickly
serious.
9/11 became a joke.
Well, that's all part of like the zeitgeist. It's just Western culture now to take things that are absolutely grave and then make jokes about it. It's pretty much the best way to respond to it, honestly, because if you make light of it, if you make jokes about it, then it's much easier to get over this is some bleeding heart liberal shit, but it's easy to get over the trauma of the event in the first place. Like nobody likes
That's
to think
not
of
bleeding
genocide.
heart. Like, come
I
on,
mean-
that's definitely not bleeding heart liberal. Liberal
Okay,
would say, "Oh
well-
no, you should hold it," or not liberal, whatever. Stereotypical liberal would be like, "Oh no, you can't talk about it because it's offensive, and we should
Well-
never say these words because they're offensive." When using a word over and over tends to take away its meaning.
Suffice
There's
it
a lot
to
of
say,
people think that I've heard people make arguments that you should essentially use racial slurs as much as possible because it takes away their inherent power if you just dilute them to just dumb words. Like, how offensive is the word "fuck" today? But 40 years ago, I'm sure saying the word "fuck" would be a lot more offensive to people. But it literally means nothing now.
if you go
Or
back a couple
faggot.
generations, if you were to say fuck around the right kind of grandparents, they'd be really pissed off. But I mean, you say fuck around someone like me or you or Chupacabra. I mean, like it's a second thought. Like it doesn't even matter.
I can curse in front of my parents and they won't be mad.
It's kind of
I
crazy.
can too.
Like looking at the cultural barometer right now is kind of
Yeah.
difficult because we're in the middle of it. But I feel like once again, in 20 years, like it'll be easier to contextualize it and see what's going on compared to where we are then. But at the same time, I feel
That's
like
different,
taking serious events, for instance, Nazis, and then making light of it is just all part of the game. I mean, it's just what we do these days. I mean, we take terrible events and we satirize them because we understand the impact of the event and that we're not taken away from it. But at the same time, I mean, like, this happened, let's make the best of it, I think that's a good attitude.
Yeah, it takes away the power of it.
Exactly.
Like, I think the easiest way to defeat the Nazis is just to make fun of them. I mean, isn't that what Charlie Hebdo is all about too?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Charlie Hebdo does some pretty out there shit. I'm kind of actually impressed that so many people rallied around Charlie Hebdo and supported them because they do some pretty broad strokes in trying to offend people on purpose for the sake of reactions and shock. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, free speech and all that. That's. I live in America, so obviously I support the First Amendment of being able to say whatever the fuck it is you want. But I mean, those guys really took the opportunity to cross toe the line as much as possible, the boundary of what you can say without getting shot up. And turns out they crossed that line.
Yeah, I mean,
But
that's why you should
I forgot where I
defend
was
the
going with
internet.
that.
You want to take the
forgot where I was
power
going
out
with
of
that.
like evil people or whatever people who want to like do
Basically.
bad things or things that are relatively bad.
I mean, how often
Keep-
do you hear pedophile jokes? I mean, that shit's absolutely disgusting, but making fun of pedophiles is hilarious, you know? Michael Jackson jokes still last, even to this day, and he's been dead for years now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the easiest way to get over a tragedy is a comedy. So,
It's a great way to deal with things. I feel like the American culture has kind of adapted from a forward-looking positive aspect to ever since like maybe the 80s, the 90s, since Generation X with a more cynical kind of viewpoint, and then with, you know, the millennial generation, if you want to call it that, is even more ironic and even more, you know, less serious than before. People in the past 30 or so years have been taking things in a more dark sense of humor, you know, and I feel like that's just a perfect way to deal with, you know, past tragedy or whatever.
but I really like the idea that you can essentially take the power out of racial slurs by using them a lot and calling yourselves them a lot. I mean, that's essentially like the whole N-word thing, why black people initially started using their modified version of the N-word is to essentially take the power away from the racial slur part. It's pretty cool.
And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's working. I mean, I don't really know
Like the word
anybody.
faggot.
I mean, I don't really hang out with, you know, alt-right people or fascists or, you know, Nazis
I call
or
myself
people who actually,
Doomsday for a reason.
people who are actually racist or whatever, but I don't think I know anybody who uses the N-word seriously.
I think
I
the
mean,
only people that use it seriously are
maybe my
like pretty
grandparents.
much like about to die.
Pretty much.
They're
Yeah,
all
it's
like
either
80
old
years
people or
old.
like
Like,
brain dead rednecks or like hicks or like
yeah.
neo-Nazis, which are like the biggest like memes
But
in
that's
the
like
world.
a huge meme in itself. Like
Yeah.
those guys are like way like they hate black people for the same reasons. Like
It's an echo chamber, I think, but I'm talking to my ass.
Is it
I
just
think
me
it's an
or
echo chamber.
would like every single neo-Nazi that existed today would be like hanged by Hitler for just the way that they drink and act? A lot of them do like lots of drugs and stuff like that.
yeah,
And like lots of stuff like that. Like
Most of them.
they're all like pieces of shit.
I mean,
they're
like,
literally all like trailer trash. Like the vast majority of them are
all
like
of us
trailer
went through a
trash,
stage.
like, retarded idiots.
All of us went through a stage where we were as edgy as we could have possibly been. I think it hits around 15 or so where you're like, I want to be like different. I want to be unique. I'm going to pick an identity that no one else has. And
I never
I
said
feel like
like the
some of these
N-word
people,
like out of
some
just
of these
to be
people,
edgy though. Like
some of these people never grew out of that. They're in their 20s or 30s and they still believe this, you know, Hitler was right type shit and we need to kill the Jews and, you know, all that great stuff. And I guess maybe these people are just kind of shelled. Society is great. It's never been a better time to be alive because the world is a really cushy place to live in right now, especially if you're born in the West.
Yeah,
You
it's
can live
pretty
your
sick
entire
having
life.
a toothache and not dying.
You can live your entire life as a neo-Nazi and you won't die for it. You won't be executed for it. And you can, you know, go to work, make a paycheck, earn a living, and live in your room and, you know,
I don't think
shitpost
you
the
can
internet
live
as much
your
as you
entire
want.
life being a neo-Nazi now. I think you probably have a better chance of doing that before.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, it's easier than ever to make it in world without dying from something stupid, you know, or without getting lynched for having a bad opinion.
I think
And,
you used to get lynched for having good opinions.
yeah.
Whereas now if you have a bad opinion, you get lynched. Not literally, but, you know. So it's kind of
Well,
like
that
we
just
were
It's
invites
always like, oh,
backwards.
fire this guy or something. Like,
that opens
you'll-
the door for a bunch of philosophical arguments about morality and what's good and what's bad empirically and all that great stuff. I mean,
Yeah, but I think you should be able to think and do whatever you want.
thought crime is
Not
kind
do
of a
whatever
bitch.
you want. You should at least be
Thought-
able to think
Thought
whatever you
crime
want.
shouldn't exist. Yeah, you know, freedom of speech is an important virtue because you should be able to express the thoughts and ideas you want, and you know,
Yeah, 'cause
nobody should be.
essentially the same idea is like, and it's a bit far-fetched here to say this, but if somebody didn't like what you said and what you said was essentially the truth, then, you know, well, now you're dead. Or now you're fired, which is essentially being dead because now you can get a job.
There's places in the world right now where you can be executed for not, you know, being a Muslim. So,
Or just being gay.
you know, whatever.
You just get hanged from a crane in Iran if you're gay. I mean, that's cool and all right.
If you're lucky, yeah.
If you're, yeah, pretty much. You get your family views you as like a subhuman and
A
you're just like an
pariah.
animal. Not even. You're just not human. A lot of places in the Middle East, if you convert to Christianity, your family doesn't view you as like a human being, like period. You're actually just not a human being. It happens a lot to a lot of Middle Eastern celebrities will convert to Christianity and they will just be like disowned by their family and they'll have to like just straight up leave the country because their family was like trying to literally kill them.
It's intense.
If they're an insult, not only are they disowned by their family, but they're like bringing shame just because they changed a religion that's not even that. It's not like they fucking went to believing in some like lizards in the middle of the earth where you should go like, kill everybody in the like. It's not even something that's like that crazy or that.
Ironically, you'd probably be more supportive for joining some kind of crazy cult or some sort of offshoot of Islam that involves killing other people than joining some other cult that's all hippy-dippy and peaceful.
You probably, I would say,
you probably celebrated for that more likely than for joining, say, Christianity, the Western variety.
It's pretty weird.
Religion's kind of insane. I mean, it's.
Pretty
I don't
much
mean that
goes back to
way.
being able to think whatever you want without being persecuted for it, even if you're thinking about like really offensive, evil things or bad things. You shouldn't be in trouble for it.
The exclusivity of religion blows my mind. Like, I don't know. It just kind of. It's interesting how the tribalism effect kind of comes into play there, where you can only believe this certain set of religious beliefs, and if you believe anything else about something that we can't see or feel, then fuck you, I'm going to stone you. That's kind of insane. I mean, that's really some like fedora tipping type shit, but it just blows my mind every time I consider it.
I think we literally covered everything in the world.
Yeah.
We went from esports to pirates to Nazis to Genghis Khan to religion to the Middle East.
We talked about Dota an awful fucking lot, and I kind of feel bad about that. But
I don't think
whatever.
Though.
It's TI6, you know.
It should be applicable to every video game.
It's a festival.
I'm still a little bit pumped from TI6 earlier. That was an exciting set of games. I'm not afraid to admit it. Like that was enjoyable to watch.
I think I tried to make sure that I reminded everybody that we weren't talking exclusively about Dota because it applies to every game. Because every
community our listeners are they're gonna skip through this thing. Like if they don't like Dota, they're gonna skip to like 30 minutes or whatever and get over it. So
we'll just lose viewers. Who cares? You know.
Yeah, maybe we'll gain like one viewer and lose like one viewer from our.
These guys
start
talk about
posting
Dota.
this in your Dota games.
Oh shit! Did we offend any like Nazis though? Because we called the Nazis retarded.
All right.
And the neo-Nazis retarded too. Can we just all agree that neo-Nazis are like some of the dumbest people in the world? Like, can we just agree on that? Because like, with all the information on how insane Hitler actually was and how fucking like retarded and dumb he was, like besides all of the like, seems
you're gonna take your orders from some guy who painted Labradors all day, really?
Like, I mean, I guess there are positive attributes to Hitler, like like being a good public speaker and stuff like that. He was pretty much like a mess altogether. He was definitely no Genghis Khan or anything like that.
As far as we know, he only had one ball. I mean,
that too. Like, isn't
Yeah.
part of like the Nazi belief is supposed to be like upholding like masculinity and stuff like that? Are you really gonna uphold all your masculinity from a guy with one testicle? Like
Maybe.
he's literally
he's
one minor bodily accident from to being a eunuch, and that's
but you gotta understand, like that was a big fucking ball, though. It was a massive fucking testicle.
It had to be a pretty big fucking ball to try to take over the world in like 3 years.
It wasn't the left nut; it was the Reich nut.
But the left one is like the most important one.
No, get it. I said Reich. It was a pun. It was good.
People tried. That was the worst.
Yeah, he tried.
All right.
I think it's time to stop. This is usually when we stop.
This is usually a good time to stop.
Where are your parents?
But this was such a good episode. You know?
We never stopped talking. Okay, so the episode has officially ended here. You're now like, this is like the behind the scenes where we reflect on how bad it was, how bad the Badcast was.
We talked about Dota way too fucking long, in my opinion. I don't think anybody's gonna listen to that shit.
Nah, but most of the people like Dota, you know? That
most people hate Dota.
Our viewership is Dota,
like on Steam.
You know?
Most people are like, oh, fuck Dota. Dota 2 sucks. I mean, there's not a lot of crossover there.
Yeah.
except for me,
I think it's still applicable. That's why I was talking about CSGO, because a lot of it still applies.
There's
I
a
had
lot of Dota
a lot of the
cross-dressers out there.
a lot of the same experiences on CSGO that I did on Dota and other games.
I wish I was good at CSGO. Like, I love CS, but I fucking blow at it. I really appreciate it from like an esports standpoint, like the skill that goes into it, because it blows my mind how good some of these people are at clicking on heads. At the same time,
you have to realize
I will never.
It's a lot like Dota, where like everybody on the game has been playing for like actually 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never ever be at that level though. Like, not only am I too old, but like, it's just insane how someone can flick their wrist exactly the number of pixels to land on someone's like 2-pixel wide head and click it. It just blows my mind.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who've been playing CSGO have been playing since like 1.6. Just like a lot of people in Dota have been playing since Dota 1. And they played through all the different iterations of Dota, because Dota was never really an all-encompassing single game until recently.
And
with Dota
like
2.
the crazy part
Before
is when
there was,
Dota
like,
1...
Dota All-Stars and all these different types of Dota game modes that were similar but different.
Most people's introduction to Dota 1 was just joining a Dota 1 custom game and trying to suss out what the fuck it was all about in the first place. Like, they had no idea what the hell was going on. And Dota 2 is so much more accessible than that. Like, starting in Dota 1 was like, if you spent 5 hours in Dota 2 and read like one guide, more than someone who spent like 50 hours in Dota 1.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Like, Dota 1 was really, like, how do I get wood was a meme from Dota 1. Like, people thought that like it worked exactly like Warcraft 3 and you needed like all these resources to continue in the game. Like, it was just so much different than what people were used to, and sussing out what the items did in the first place.
There's no proper esport for RTS games?
I mean,
don't fucking say StarCraft, because it's not a thing anymore. It just doesn't.
StarCraft is dying out, but I feel like StarCraft is one of the most pure forms of RTS that was around in modern times. I mean, there's not really a replacement. There's nothing. There's no RTS that says like, "Please play me."
Conquer.
I mean, is it balanced enough to be an esports game?
It doesn't exist. There's no Command and Conquer anymore.
Here's what I think could have been a legitimate esports game is StarCraft, or not, sorry, shit, I misspoke. Supreme Commander. Supreme Commander could have been like a really good fucking esports game, because like it had great spectator support, a great multiplayer, and it was balanced as shit. It was like Total Annihilation, but with good graphics. It was supremely balanced, and it was really fun. Any of you guys play that?
I've been told to play it a lot, but I've never played it. I've seen videos and stuff like that.
Like, it was from 2007, I think.
Oh,
so
yeah, by the way, for everybody who's
dated.
listening right now, this is like an extended part, so you can just turn it off. We're just going to shoot the shit like a lot less formally right now until I decide to turn the shit off when we get tired.
Yeah. I'm probably going to take a piss in like 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm going to do that right now.
Alright, so we should just end it then.
Yeah, you want to end it right now then?
Yeah.
Oh, he already left? He already left.
I
Yeah, I always
don't
kind of
know.
wish there was like a RTS, not even an esport RTS, an RTS that wasn't like actually like filled with like 100 people that just played all day, like actually had like thousands, if not millions of people playing. It doesn't exist anymore. It's like a dead genre completely. The whole genre is just fucking dead. No major company wants to touch it either. Like, you don't see like Blizzard going like, we're gonna make a whole new RTS.
Definitely.
Valve, no. I
mean,
even know
a lot of
the
those
other
companies like aren't what they used to be too. I don't know.
Most of them just
Cough
work
Blizzard.
on fucking polishing existing games.
Yeah.
And, it just seems
I
cool
think
with
they
all
know
the
their cash
technology.
crop by now, so they don't like really wanna.
Seems like with all the technology, you could make like a really good RTS game, and not in the sense of like the inner game mechanics, but like the outer game mechanics, like leaderboards and stuff like that, and like post-game information about like statistics on how good you did. Like a lot of that stuff would be very like handy in an RTS game, or like player highlights in like an RTS game would be pretty sick too. Stuff like that like would be really cool. But it just seems like no company wants to touch the RTS genre at all. No big company, and every small company that does seems to either like not like put too much work into it, or the game dies, or it flops, or it becomes like a.
I don't think it makes enough money.
I've heard that it's not accessible. That
think-
it's like easier to play a MOBA than an RTS, but I don't think that about Dota at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of wish, because I always felt like cooler playing like an RTS than playing any MOBA ever. I always felt like I was more in the zone. And like that 1v1
Are we still
like,
recording?
feeling. Yeah, well, we were going to say like goodbye, but then you went to go take a piss.
Oh, my bad. Well, thanks for waiting.
Alright, so what we usually say is we say boa noite at the end, which is good night in Portuguese, because of harmonica. So,
Sure.
we actually didn't learn anything today. Oh, we learned the definition of sports. That's what we learned today.
Sports.
Sports.
Sports involves
Oh.
physical activity. Don't forget it. Video games are not sports. Don't get it confused, idiot.
Esports does not literally mean sports.
Poker
Just
is
means
not a
competitive.
sport.
Alright. Are we done here, boys?
We're done here, boys.
We're done. Alright, boa noite.
Boa noite.
Buenas noches.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Guess that
Fucked it all up.
doesn't work at all.
This is the worst episode yet.